Okay, just think about this for a second. How do you provide clean, safe water for over 1 billion people? I mean, that is a massive challenge. In this explainer, we're going to dive into how India is tackling this head on. We'll look at the big national plans, the really cool technology they're using, and, you won't believe it, how you actually fit into this whole picture.
So before we go any further, let's get on the same page about what we're really up against. Water pollution, it isn't just about water looking a little murky. No, it's a serious threat. It can mess with our health, totally disrupt ecosystems, and make one of our most precious resources completely unusable. It's a problem that affects every single one of us.
And that brings us back to the big question, right? How in the world do you even start to tackle a problem on this scale? Well, as we're about to see, the answer isn't just one thing. It's this mix of really smart planning, some incredible technology, and, you guessed it, all of us working together. The first piece of the puzzle, you gotta have a solid plan. And India's fight for clean water, well, it didn't just start yesterday. This is a story that's been unfolding for decades, with every new policy and program building on the lessons learned from the last one. You know, this timeline really tells a story. It's the story of a nation waking up to a huge crisis and responding with bigger and bolder solutions over time. It all started way back in 1974 with the Water Act, which set up the watchdogs, the pollution control boards. And from there, it just ramped up, all the way to the Namami Gange program, which had this audacious goal of zero untreated discharge. You can just see the commitment getting stronger and stronger.
But here's the thing, the solution isn't just about cleaning up the mess after it's made. It's also about preventing it from happening in the first place. And that's where this number, 20%, comes in. That's the National Water Mission's target for making us all more efficient with our water use. It's this clear signal that every single drop we save is a drop that doesn't have to be cleaned later. All right, so we've seen the blueprint, the high-level strategy. Now let's get our hands dirty, so to speak, and look at the actual tools of the trade. How do you take polluted water and make it clean again? Well, the answer is this fascinating mix of engineering, chemistry, and even biology. It's pretty cool. This is where the magic really happens. Think of it like a super high-tech 3-step car wash, but for water. First, you've got the pre-wash, or primary treatment. This is where big screens and just plain old gravity pull out all the large stuff. Then comes the deep clean, the secondary treatment, where they unleash tiny microbes to eat up all the dissolved gunk. And finally, you've got the detailing, the advanced treatment, which chemically polishes the water to get rid of the really tough pollutants. Now let's zoom in on that deep clean stage. There are a couple of really clever ways to do it. The activated sludge process is like giving those microbes an energy drink. You pump the water full of oxygen to get them super active and hungry for pollutants. And the best part? It creates methane gas as a byproduct, which can be captured and used as fuel. Then you have trickling filters, which is a more chill approach. It just lets gravity trickle the water over rocks covered in these same hungry microbes. Two different paths to the same clean destination. But get this, the toolkit for clean water isn't just about concrete tanks and steel pipes. Sometimes the absolute best solutions come directly from nature. The root zone process is a perfect example. It's this brilliant idea to use the natural filtering power of plants, like reeds in a wetland, to create a living, breathing water treatment system. How cool is that? Okay, so we've been talking about the day-to-day fight against pollution. But what happens when a real disaster strikes? I'm talking about something sudden and massive, like an oil spill. Well, for that, you need a whole different set of tools and tactics. You need the special ops. You know that old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure? Well, it has never been more true than with oil spills. So the first line of defense is just building safer ships. Things like double hulls create a critical buffer zone that can stop a leak from becoming a catastrophe. But it's not just about the hardware. It's also about smarter procedures that cut down the risk of accidents and just keep the oil out of the water in the first place. But hey, even with the best plans, accidents can happen. And when they do, you have to act fast. The cleanup crew has a whole range of tools, from chemicals that break up the oil slicks to giant absorbent pads. But one of the most exciting tools is something called bioremediation. This is where scientists unleash special microbes, like this one called Oil Zapper, to literally eat the oil and turn it into harmless stuff. It's basically using nature to heal itself. So all of these efforts, from treating sewage to cleaning up oil spills, they're all about one thing: protecting our water. And one of the smartest ways to do that is to use every drop we can, over and over again.
That's where water recycling comes in. By treating wastewater and then reusing it for things like farming or in factories, we can take a huge amount of pressure off our natural freshwater supplies. It's just a smarter way to live. We've covered a lot of ground here, right? We've talked about high-level government policies and cutting-edge technologies, but there's one last piece of the puzzle we have to talk about, and honestly, it might be the most important one. We need to talk about you, because at the end of the day, the success of this whole fight for clean water, it really depends on all of us. This quote just nails it. It gets right to the heart of the matter. We can build all the treatment plants in the world, we can invent all kinds of amazing technologies, but if we don't stop pollution at its source, we're always just going to be playing catch-up. And that source, it often starts right in our own communities. So what does that actually look like in your daily life? Well, for one, it means being a watchdog. If you see someone polluting, report them. Be the eyes and ears for your local water sources. It also means being super mindful of what goes down your drain. That leftover paint or old oil, don't dump it. And of course, the 3 R's are huge. Every single thing we decide not to buy means less industrial wastewater somewhere down the line. Every little bit truly does help. So as we wrap this up, it's clear that India's fight for clean water is this huge effort with governments, scientists, and engineers all playing their part. But here's the final thought I want to leave you with. Maybe the most important battlefront is the one that's closest to home. The small choices we make every single day, they create ripples. And those ripples can either add to the problem or they can be a powerful part of the solution. The choice really is ours.